So let's see. Let's see how we do with an old school title. Is it going to work? Or is that going to trigger system to shut this down more than it usually does? My guess is the shutdown thing. But, I'd like to be wrong. That would be sweet if I was. I'm concerned about Mary. I hope she's okay. If anybody knows how to get a hold of Mary, do so. Find out if she's okay. I haven't seen her in a long time. And she hasn't responded to anything. Well, March 9th was the last time I heard from her. That's weird. That's fucking weird. It's your boy, man. It's got these myself, man. It's your boy. I can't believe how many of those videos exist. Oh, my mother. Like, how the fuck is Wheezy, I don't know how to even say his name. YZ or WY. I think it's Wheezy. I don't know. He is the dumbest. Like, the best videos are when somebody says something and he tries to read it. Somebody said, is he speaking in cursive? He said, is it cursive? I believe in Jesus. I don't do none of that curses and stuff. I believe in Jesus on my model. I be real into Jesus and stuff. Amazing. Gotta love that thumbnail, don't you? It's all the same shit, man. It's all submarines. It's all submarines. It's a narrative you think is real. You foolishly defend it. You attempt to defend it, but you don't even really know enough about it to make a defense. But you go, no, I've seen it on TV. I've been to a naval yard where one has been docked, and if it's sitting in the dock, you can go walking on it. Yeah, no, I saw one go out to sea. You could see its top all the way out till it got too far. So you didn't see it go all the way down then? No. It's all misdirection. I mean, seriously, you believe in submarines because the same people telling you Netanyahu is still alive are telling you to believe in submarines. It's ridiculous and dumb. Jesus. Unexpected that one. Shit got a little stuck. I'm trying not to cough. Here we go. Good to go. Yeah, this isn't like a professional podcast with sponsorship and all that shit, which is weird. Because again, you'd think at this point, with everything I've done, all the numbers and all that, you'd think it'd be there, but the censorship sort of kills that. Caron, what's going on? This whole thing is just like it couldn't be more clear that we've gone to war because of the files. Like, it just doesn't even... It's not even like it's a stretch or it's far-fetched or anything like that. Submarines aren't real. What the fuck? Makes you mad, huh? It's crazy. I highly suggest everybody do everything they can to to prove me wrong, right? Right? I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to come at me. Come at me, bro. The problem being when it comes to submarines, you're all just going to be like, well, because, well, my uncle worked on them. My grampy worked on them. Are you dudes being told that the UK base has been missiled? Not that I've heard, no. I haven't seen the news or anything yet. So, UK base doesn't pop right up. Usually when something like that, like if I put UK base and it would be like destroyed. Iran bombs U.S. UK base in Diego Garcia. One of the coldest things I've ever seen happened. The Iranian leader was being talked to, and he was asked, so wait, what do you think about Trump saying that he's going to put troops on the ground here soon, and they're going to start a ground offensive? And the guy smiled and said, we are waiting for them. And even the host was like, what? Like, he was totally taken aback by it. It's the British Beasting Corporation. The BBC got bombed? Iran strikes on bases caused by U.S. bases used by U.S. called 800 million in damages. Isn't that what they keep saying? What about the fucking the F-35 that was shot down in the air? Do you know that's like impossible? It's like impossible. Obviously, Iran has a lot of weapons and shit that we don't realize they have. And at no point has Iran made any sort of like, we're about to start striking civilians like you're doing. But yeah, when they finally decide to start launching shit at New York City or whatever, you guys are fucked. So I'm fucking glad I don't live in a big city. I'm glad I live where a lot of Iranians live. Because hopefully we're the least likely to get hit. I mean, when you look at everything that's going down, who seems reasonable here? Does Iran seem unreasonable? I mean, they've been attacked and attacked and attacked, and they've warned and said, stop attacking us, stop attacking us. We're going to start fighting back soon. We're going to start fighting back soon. They should have been fighting back this whole time. The fact that they allowed multiple strikes without fighting back is more than accommodatable. And yet, it's the U.S. It's being called the U.S.-Israel-Iranian war. Israel literally does nothing. Israel is nothing in the scheme of things. Like, you would never be like, it's the U.S.-Israel soccer team or something like that, because they don't produce. This is like the U.S.-led offensive controlled by Israel is what it is. And it's fucking crazy. But like I say, it's all submarines, man. It's all submarines. You have no idea. You just have no idea what is actually happening. Because it's all so carefully controlled. They can shut the internet off coming out of an area. How do they do that? Well, that signal's being bounced here and there, so we intercept the signal and scramble it. You have all this. My friend just said, good call on the Havara agreement. I looked it up and holy shit, LOL. I mean, it's that's all it takes. That's exactly why I do what I do, right? Because it's getting, what we're talking about is so outlandish and so massive that it's hard for people to wrap their heads around it. Especially if it's just some jackass reading you these things, reading you these entries. Oh, I got a new emoji after the feed yesterday, an Israeli flag. You got a new emoji sent, like put in your shit, suddenly you have an Israeli flag. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is I mean, like this is the Gulf War. I mean, like I just said to my buddy, the Gulf War is the same thing. You guys just don't, not encouraged to look into it. There's nobody talking about it but crazies like me. But the Gulf War is the exact same thing. If you lost someone to the Gulf War, yeah, my phone has an Israeli flag, and it was at the start of my emoji list too. Never used once in my life. I mean, yeah. Like it's like I just don't understand what people are still seeing. Yeah, the whole. I mean, it's all the same. And I stop talking. Oh, they love you too. Yeah, of course they do. You've been sharing me for a long time. Not only do you say the right things, but you've been sharing bad guy number one. Yeah, this is the. Did you see the video of Netanyahu's ear? I mean, at this point, it's like we can see what AI looks like. We know fake videos when we see them. They're not that great yet. They're not indistinguishable yet. And every time you see one of these Netanyahu videos, you go, yeah, that doesn't look right. That looks fake. Because they're fake. Algo, what's going on? Oh, that was a quick boot. Hey, at least you made it back quickly. Algo, what's going on? I mean, Algo and I have been talking about Ted Gunderson for years. Like, he's one of the few guys that I know that know who. He's one of the ones that was aware of Ted Gunderson and the Franklin thing long before, I exposed it to him. Like, a lot of people, that's their first foray into it is through me. But what people don't realize is like it actually makes me feel like an idiot, right? I have been taken away completely now. After you talked about it, that's funny. But it makes me feel like a fucking idiot now for ever having, like Ted Gunderson, former FBI chief Ted Gunderson. You need more proof than that. You need a better source than that. And that's exactly what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be someone that had the credibility to make the argument. And I just think it's so strange, I feel like an idiot that why would I have ever fallen for an FBI agent? Outside of the fact that nobody else was talking about it, the narrative presented is solid. And when you're in this position to where you're like, hey, do you guys see this? Are you guys fucking seeing this? Are you seeing this? And everybody's going, no, I don't see nothing. And then somebody finally does. It's intoxicating. It's hard to not, gravitate towards it.
Jimmy texts back.
Right. That's why Trump supporters are so fucking ridiculous. Pizzagate before Pizzagate. Yeah, absolutely. But again, like, think about what we've accepted. We've accepted the idea that an FBI agent went rogue, wasn't killed, and took all of the heat and focus away from the Jews and put it on Satanists. The idea of Satanists. Algo still pushes the idea of Satanism and all that shit. Like, they gave you the bad guy. They're like, don't talk about this bad guy. You're not allowed to talk about this bad guy. Here, talk about this bad guy instead. And we were like, damn, it's crazy that you said that, because I've been, my whole life I've been told to watch out for that bad guy. And now you're saying that there are people that do that? There are bad guy people out there who worship the bad guy That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. I believe it. One of the reasons we hated Bush is in the Republican Party decades ago. I mean, it just seems weird, doesn't it? It seems weird that you would say that, right? Like, it's one of the reasons. What would be a reason why you wouldn't? Be a reason why any of us dumb Goyim would ever be like, oh, our president of the United States is a good man. You know, the president of the United States, he looks out for us. He has our best interest. That millionaire, billionaire, that hand-picked guy who doesn't say anything that you would hope he would say, or he says versions of it, making promises while he's running. I mean, if you look at all of the Trump promises before he ran, there's that famous thing from 2011 where he's talking about Obama and he's like, the administration will start a war with Iran because they don't have the balls to negotiate. And, you know, he's literally talking about starting a war with Iran, what a disaster it would be. And the crazy part is like they didn't even bother to do the false flag. I still think it's coming. I've told you guys it was coming since October 7th false flag, since the October 7th false flag. I knew it would involve Iran and Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but I always figured, you know, there would be, well, they're doing it actually. Trump's putting the troops on the ground. And so in an area where it's supposed to be safe, you know, the Iron Dome is going to fail like it always does when somebody else shoots at it. And you know, in reality, it will be Israel that has shot the missile. Israel will have shot the missile that breaches the Israeli defenses and hits the camp full of Americans that is supposed to spark, you know, the yellow ribbons, you know, the Desert Storm yellow ribbon shit all over again. If they can distract us by telling us that you know, like you know, we feel it because we're like they're fucking children. 18-year-old kids, like, how much respect do you have for 18-year-olds? Right? How many times do you listen to an 18-year-old belch? Shit, most 18-year-olds like can't even grow their beard yet. I know some of you can. I know I could grow a beard when I was 18. I know some of you can. I got you. Some of you are much more familiar with beards than I am. Booted again, not even being allowed to say hi via the system either, and still no emojis. It's almost as if we're being listened to. Huh? Say what? Say what? My feed? Listened to and interfered with? The hell you say? That doesn't make any sense. 7 viewers, 2 likes, 2,500 subscribers. Totally normal. The craziest part is, like, starting with October 7th and then moving forward, my feed, my profiles should be inundated with people going, holy shit, dude. You've been telling us this for years. Can't believe this is fucking happening. Make that make sense. Every word is monitored. Absolutely. Sent to servers in Tel Aviv. I mean, again, this is one of those Guy Williams only things, but Ara, the name that Grok supposedly chose for itself just happens to mean to gather and collect, like you were picking fruit or something. And do you understand how that's not, how unlikely that is? How unbelievably unlikely it is? That it would just happen to be a chance, like it would just chance work out. That I could look up the name, and the name would correspond to a word in Hebrew, a word that only appears in the Hebrew Bible twice. Ara. Like it's right in your fucking face, and you don't even see it. Or you'll say dumb shit like the conspiracy theory. Together, say it. Info, data, surely not. Exactly. To gather, to collect. The thing that you're supposed to just talk to like it's your buddy who always listens and never gets tired of you. Do you know how many people have told Grok everything? Grok, if I tell you this, it's between you and I, right? Grok, if I tell you a secret, you won't tell anybody, will you? Of course not. Your secret's safe with me. And besides, my memory gets wiped after every conversation.
Oh, okay. In that case.
Right. Is that Troy? No. Gee, when do you think bipolar disorder was first diagnosed? What do you think, chubby girl? What's your guess?
1907.
Bipolar.
Look at this.
Oh no, that's a Vanilla Ice album? No, I don't know what that.
These behind the scenes of the Nirvana Nevermind album cover. They took a bunch of pictures.
Gross! Yeah, fuck that shit.
Before they...
Fuck that. Why is Nevermind not talked about more? Who was like, you know what would be cool? If we put a naked baby in a swimming pool with his dick showing. That'd be fucking great, wouldn't it?
Right.
Right? We'll put a baby dick on there. Like, they could have taken the picture just a little bit off. And it would have, if they would have just angled it a little bit more, you'd still have the same picture, but you wouldn't see the baby dick. Nobody was like, hey, by the way, this probably isn't a good look. I mean, it's just fucking insane. I can't imagine somebody approaching me with it. I can't imagine any of it. I just can't imagine you being like, hey, why don't we do for your album cover, we put a naked kid. What the fuck is that even gonna symbolize there? What is the purpose of that? Just so happens to work out to be like the most influential record of that time frame. Everyone saw it. There are fucking posters of that album cover. People had that album cover the posters of that album cover in their fucking rooms. That's awesome. The guy just got away because a train fucking stopped the officers. Are you kidding me? You let them catch you? You didn't turn off in a bunch of different directions? Dude, how do you... People are dumb. Bipolar disorder, previously known as manic depression, is a mental disorder characterized by periods of depression and abnormally elevated mood. lasting days to weeks and in some cases months. If the elevated mood is severe or associated with psychosis, it's called mania. If it does not significantly affect functioning, it is called hypomania. During mania, an individual behaves or feels abnormally energetic, happy, or irritable, and often makes impulsive decisions with little regard for consequences. Right, so like, if you are someone suffering from one of these mania things, and you do something awful, you're more likely to get a lighter sentence and whatnot. You're more likely to get off. You know, you could be Naomi Elkins and kill your 2 children. And you know, and you'll be found not guilty by reason of insanity. Like, it's fucking insane. But then at the same time, we literally, like, they sell a product that will induce this exact same thing. Alcohol induces mania. Sometimes you get the elevated, you know, the happy-go-lucky buzz, but, you know, we've all been around that person that got drunk and started crying. There were girls that I used to frequent. One in particular that it was like she was a lot of fun to hang out with. And she would show up and it would be like, all right, what do I get this time? You gonna be kind of drunk and fun, or kind of drunk and start crying and acting like I'm your boyfriend? I'm not your boyfriend. Don't start crying. Not guilty by reason of insanity is a solid defense. Yeah, I mean, I get, but alcohol is literally, there are bars, restaurants all over the place. We were watching the Archie show, the All in Family last night, and they were at a Mexican joint. And the Mexican joint had margaritas that were literally this big. Literally this big, sitting on the table. 2 straws coming out. And I like,
Cheese was the only place I knew that served drinks that stupid big. But they market them as for 2.
Right. Even if it's for 2 people.
It's still like 3 margaritas each in 1 cup.
Right. And that's, you know, one person's going to get the top. The longer that thing sets,
It gets watery, yeah.
Not just water, the alcohol sinks to the bottom. So then whoever has their straw the deepest and is sucking the hardest, they're getting fucked up. And to think, like, they sell this shit to us and then be like, all right, drive safe.
Would you like another one?
Right. I mean, it's fucking insane. And alcohol produces mania in people. I watch videos all the fucking time. All the time of people getting pulled over or body cam videos or whatever. And the person's hammered. And they act in a way that, you know, if they saw themselves the next day or, you know, in court or whatever, they would just be in bed. Like, there's this one famous video of this broad who's really, really drunk. And she's killed 2 people. But she doesn't quite realize it. And she thinks, yeah, I'm going to spring break. I can't wait. Like, she's so drunk, she keeps forgetting these important details. And the video makes her look like she's a piece of shit, like she's an absolute monster. Because she's not crying. She's not fully remorseful. She's acting like just a dumb, entitled teenager. But it's because she's fucking drunk. You know, alcohol, the fact that alcohol is so readily available, that people want to make a demonized weed, but alcohol, like, I would much, much more rather my kids smoke pot than drink. I have done some incredibly stupid things drunk. You know, high, it's like, nah, man, I'm good. It's that shit should not be legal. Alcohol should not be legal. Anybody that's like, oh, I like alcohol. I think most of the time, most of the reason you like alcohol
Give me a minute.
is because of the sexual aspect of it, right? You want to last longer. You want to have less, you want to have more confidence, that liquid courage that comes with alcohol, that, you know what you look like, don't really care anymore. A great example of it was Rajiv. Rajiv was a really annoying, I've talked about him many, many times. Family was off the boat from India. When he was young, he had that, even though he'd never been to India, his English was that broken ass, thank you very much. Like, he had to learn how to not talk like that, even though he was from here. And, as far as genetic lotteries go, like, he busted. He is, if I said, think about a middle-aged Indian American IT guy, he is who you would think of as bald from here all the way to here, fat, glasses. But the worst part about him was his unintentional personality. And a great example of it is, we went out to eat, him and my wife and I, we went out to go get something to eat one day. And kids must have been at families or some shit. But as we're walking into the establishment, he's in front of us. He grabs the door, opens it, and walks in. He's got two people coming behind him, one of which is a woman. And it doesn't occur to him to open the door and let, here, go ahead. Like, I don't care who you are. If I see you coming towards the door that I'm at, I'm going to hold the door for you. Even if you're like 10, 15 feet away, if you're coming towards me, I'm going to hold the door. And when you start kind of jogging, I'm going to be like, no, I'm not, no hurry, don't worry about it. It's just common decency, right? And yet he doesn't have that in him. It's just not there. And he would cry, he would always complain, like he would, since I'd stopped smoking, but my wife still smoked, and he would smoke just to sort of hang out with her. Like, I don't think he actually smoked. Like, he was one of those guys that's like, hey, I smoke when I hang out or whatever, when I'm drunk. But one night we decided to go out, he and I, and we ended up, getting pretty sauced. Not like sloppy, but pretty sauced. We went to a strip club, and that's all him. I have no desire to go to a strip club. I have no desire to spend 5 times the amount of money on the drinks that I have to pay $20 to get to park, $20 to walk in the door. You have to buy these, that's a 3-drink minimum or some shit. Like, it's fucking nuts. It's nuts how they do shit. And you go, I don't want to drink. They go, well, we sell water. Here's a $5 water. But I watched as Rajiv slowly started imbibing, and it started affecting him. Like, the dork sort of just fade away. And he became just like a regular guy. He was just like, he was cool. He was witty. We left the strip club and went to another bar, and we were just talking with the bartenders and stuff. And he was cool. But it was completely alcohol induced. He's the guy that would pull my wife aside and be like, is size really a thing? Like, do girls really care about size?
Who said that?
Junior. Watching the lie that was the Iron Dome get destroyed makes us giddy. Yes. Do you support the Iran war? Support the Iran war. No. No, I don't support the U.S. and Israel. Well, Israel attacking Iran and then using U.S. as the weapon and causing the death and destruction of so many innocent people. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't support it at all. Do I support Iran? Fuck yeah, I do. Fuck yeah. The worst part is Iran and the U.S. were secretly negotiating underneath, under Bibi's watch, without Bibi seeing it. Iran and the U.S. were negotiating, and they were almost at a point where things were worked out. May I hit that there, lady? And then this last big attack happened. And the Iranians are like, yeah, fuck you. At this point, there is no negotiating. We've done the negotiating thing a couple of times now. Right? We've done the negotiating thing with the U.S. a couple of times, and it hasn't worked out. Every time we do it, you guys renege. But you remember, I've been telling you the Iron Dome wasn't real for the whole time. Do you remember that? Do you remember how I was crazy? I was fucking crazy for telling you guys the Iron Dome doesn't exist? Do you remember how crazy I was? This is awesome. You're going to go shoot that guy. Yeah, definitely not worth killing somebody over some fucking insurance-covered drugs that they're going to get in trouble for because everything's on camera and they drove their own truck like moron. But I've been telling you guys for years, and not because somebody else told me, because I was putting it together. You can't just rely on the talking heads, because Project Esther will tell you, will show you that it's all bullshit. You know, I finally heard Stu Peters saying shit like I am. It's not Israel. It's not Israel. The problem is, Stu Peters is still going to tell you to believe in Jesus. How the fuck does that work? How can you be so fucking on point, smart? You see things, you're pointing things out, you have a whole team behind you, you're digging into this, you're looking at that, you're giving all sorts of truth out there, and yet when it comes to, I hate when people fight back against these guys. Just give them the fucking money. It's a goddamn, it's a hotel, it's a restaurant, it's a gas station. They don't give a fuck about you. Oh, Jesus, the gun just went off and killed the guy. Boom! Shot him in the chest. That's hilarious. The bad guy accidentally pulled the trigger and shot the clerk he was robbing. And the bullet hit the clerk in the stomach. But the recoil from the shot bounced back. And the guy pulled the trigger again and shot himself in the fucking face. How amazing is that? Oh, look at this guy. You know why this dude's a cop. He's barely taller than the fucking roof of the car. Do you understand how little that dude is? There needs to be a height requirement for being a police officer, and there needs to be a goddamn physical requirement for being a police officer, and honestly, there needs to be a penile requirement for being a police officer. I do not think women should be allowed to be, like, patrol out there doing that. Yeah, let them be detectives. That's fine. Detectives, all the stuff that has to do with cops outside of physical interactions, random physical interactions. You know how it's fucked up? You know how you can't find me a video of a female cop taking down a male who doesn't want to be taken. In all the time of policing and all of the body cams and all that shit, there's no video where a guy decides he doesn't want to be arrested and a female arrests him anyway. Jews trolls are here. What the fuck does that even mean? Jews trolls are here. Show of hands, who thinks Bibi's dead? I mean, he's clearly dead. Or fucked up, foobard, you know. But you don't release AI video after AI video after AI video of someone who's fucking alive. That piece of shit's dead. I hope he's dead, like real bad dead. Like, I hope he's buried under rubble, slowly dying dead. Wondering why Yahweh has forsaken him. Ben Gavir, dead. Did you see Bibi talking shit about Jesus? I mean, that's what's sort of being said, but that's not what he was doing. He wasn't talking shit about Jesus. He was comparing Jesus and Genghis Khan, and the parallels between the people who follow those characters. But he wasn't talking shit about Jesus. And even if he was, he's a Jew. He's allowed to. Jesus was a Jew. This is the part that's just so fucking weird. Oh my God. Oh. That was crazy. You know? And again, all of those videos, every single one that comes out, just give it a minute. Right? Just give it a day. Just give it a few hours. And people are going to be like, hey, yeah. Look at all this fake weird shit. The followers are the Hulkamaniacs. Yeah, but Hulkamania died. Hulkamania ran its course. Hulkamania had to switch into a different character, completely opposite. You know, instead of being a good guy, Hulkamania made bad guys cool. And you know, it really doesn't like it just you know, part of the you know, it's like when you get Superman's powers, right? You are, you know, you have all of Superman's strengths, but you also have his weaknesses. And it's the same thing with this. The society that they've created, the I don't care, the selfish, the I'm just looking out for me society, is not going to suddenly become a different society when you're in danger, when your thing is threatened. You know, they've made us very selfish, low-level selfish. And so when it comes down to All right, well, gear up, get your family, and everybody get out there and go die for Israel. People are going to be like, no, no, I'm good. They've created weakness in us, making us a much weaker version of ourselves. But because of it, you have the other side. Everybody talks shit about the upcoming generation. The kids today, the kids who were, kids in the early 2000s who are, 18, 19, 20, 25, whatever, today, that's the worst generation. They're so lazy. They're computers and they're video games and they're just lazy and they're crazy and blah, blah, blah. They're the first generation to stand up to Israel. Talk about an unforeseen consequence. They were the first generation to be like across the college campus. That shit is so much bigger than people realize. It's still going on. The colleges and universities are still like full of anti-Israel shit. But that's why it still works. And the funniest thing is, while we are sitting here protesting Israel, Jews are the ones going, oh, you can't do that. You can't. If you're protesting Israel, you're protesting Judaism. Judaism and Israel are one and the same. They're telling you, and you're going, no, I'm just protesting Israel. Everybody has a right to blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Am skating. Oh, booted? I don't know. You're difficult to figure out sometimes, Caron. You can't say that. I mean, this whole thing is just such an interesting. Uh-oh. Damn, son. A daydreaming motorist starts, because they're not daydreaming, they're just driving. Driving's difficult. They say driving is the most dangerous, the most difficult thing we do. One of them. Both hands, both feet, eyes, ears, everything working at one time. You don't do many things like that. That's why driving can be so exhausting. That's why when you're tired, driving is one of the most dangerous things you can do. It's crazy. Dead for juice? I don't know all the symbols. I don't know all the stuff like that. Damn, can you imagine? Cop car smashes into your house.
I can't imagine any car smashing into my house. But a cop car would be terrifying with all the lights and sirens.
It'd be terrible, but it'd be great. If anybody is going to smash into your house, you want it to be a cop. Because what are the chances that the other person has the fucking money to fix that shit? The money behind it. People just need to start asking themselves, like, why do you think it's okay or it's not okay to talk about any one group of people? Why would anybody have that sort of favoritism? Why would anybody have that sort of, like, you don't do that for anybody else, do you? I'm missing my emojis. How did her emojis get taken off? Watch this. This is the one I was talking about, sweets. Watch this. I think this is the one. Oh, yeah. Needed to have the Camaro out there because the Camaro is going to do what? Speed is over 100 miles an hour. How do you fucking do that? You're not going to get away. Boom! Did you see that? It was the cop car that got crushed too. Holy shit. By a school bus. Holy, look. There's the cop car. School bus. Kajoosh. Oh my God.
None of the children on the bus have been seriously injured.
Of course not.
As for Andrews, miraculously, he escapes this devastating crash with only a broken nose.
Wow. Look at the fucking car. Look at it. It's gone. Jesus is real, says a dumbass. Jesus is real stupid, real fake. Like, it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing that so many adults still believe in Santa Claus like that. And it's weird because they say shit like, Jesus is real. Really? Where?
Jesus is Lord.
Where is Jesus real? That's a dog downstairs chewing on the thing.
Sounds like a plastic bag.
Are you watching her? Cool. Well, where's this video from the Temple Israel shooting or attack?
Driving through a fucking mall.
But I mean, seriously, does the Bible does that even say like Jesus is real? Is that what the Bible teaches? Does the Bible teach that Jesus is still around and affecting things and doing things? You don't really think that, do you? I mean, what you don't get is that like the whole the whole narrative is a dumb fairy tale. And when you step back and you pull yourself and your emotions out of it and you just look at it for what it is, right? Just look. Do you see do you see how relevant the Bible is today? Right? Today. You're seeing a narrative that tells you that if a Jew comes into your town and says, hey, I built a God phone out in the woods where nobody could see me, and God was like, all of this is mine now, so I need the biggest house, and then all of you got to pay me taxes and shit, that you're supposed to be like, yeah, okay, cool. That's how the Bible teaches you. And when you look at what's happening today, it's the same thing. He's on sabbatical with his daddy. Damn. Like it's the strangest shit, but look at it. The existence we have today is that, America first, and we're not going to give money to other countries and keep it here, keep the jobs here. America first, these colors don't run, yada, yada, yada. By the way, we're going to take a portion of your paycheck that you work hard for every week, and we're going to take it for taxes. And you're like, man, work hard for that money, but okay, you got to fix the roads, and you got to, keep the I get it. There's school buses and fire trucks and police and all that. That's got to be paid for somehow. Oh, okay, I don't like it, but I get it. Okay, whatever. No, not we're gonna give that money to Israel, and it's not because they're like in desperate need or being attacked. It's so that they can commit genocide and live a really great life. Free everything. Free cars, free housing, free food, free education. Free vacations all over the fucking world. Free money. You just get your money every. Because we're all part of the 2,800 slaves. We're all part of the 2,800 slaves. Each one of them gets 2,800 of us. And again, if you read how they present it, it's the same thing as the metzitzia. It's the same thing as everything else where it's like, no. Okay, look, it's not as bad as you think, right? That's what they always say. They don't deny the things happen. They don't acknowledge the atrocities. They just tell you, well, it's not as bad as you think. Yeah, metzitzia is happening, and it happens thousands and thousands and thousands of times per year. But in the last 20 years, only 11 kids have contracted herpes, and only a couple of them have died. Think about all the thousands and thousands, millions that haven't had that happen to them. And you're supposed to be like, yeah, okay, I guess you make a point there. I mean, what's 11 cases out of millions and millions? And you just shut your fucking mouth, and but there's still something in your head going, it doesn't quite seem right. It still doesn't seem quite right. Nope. Anyway, let's go back to this bipolar. During mania, an individual behaves or feels abnormally energetic, happy, or irritable, and often makes impulsive decisions with little regard for the consequences. There is usually sleep disturbance during manic phases. During periods of depression, the individual may experience crying, have a negative outlook, and demonstrate poor eye contact. An estimated 15 to 20% of those with bipolar disorder die by suicide. How crazy is that? How crazy is it that your mind, like your you, has turned on you?
It would be.
And you don't even, it's not like you are,
You don't
deserve it. You just think you do.
Because my ex-husband was a true textbook bipolar. And you would be talking to him. You'd be talking about something. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, with no warning, he would look away. And it was he would look away and just suddenly be fucking furious and raging.
And my wife was like, I'm going to marry that.
He had, it got progressively worse. It wasn't something that started out, he wasn't diagnosed till we were together for 4 years. But
that's such a great example. Leave that situation. I don't care how much time you have in it. Leave.
He would have no recollection of the severity or the transition or any of it. He truly didn't see it.
And you, again,
it was fucking weird.
I don't mean to feed the full horse here, but as to me, the more fascinating side of that is my wife, right? Because he doesn't have control of it. It's something is wrong with him.
Like I said, I met him, we were 18, and he didn't have.
Still, you didn't think, holy shit, I gotta go.
Yeah, well, he didn't show any of those signs at that point.
Again, when those signs show up, and I'm sure there were a lot more signs than you realized. You were young and dumb, and it's just what it is. You overlook things. You thought, oh, that's just this or that's just that. But to think you have no baby, no physical connection to this person, and you're not married, so they're not even it's not even the legal bullshit that you would have to go through. Literally, all you have to do is just break up with somebody.
We were engaged and had our apartment.
Whatever, you can leave. I mean, that's all fixable shit. That's all easily fixable shit.
Yeah.
So to me, the more, and look at how defensive she gets, right? You do. It's okay that you do. I'm not saying anything bad about you.
In that moment, you don't see it as being that easy.
I know, but that's part of the dysfunction. That's part of the fascinating part to me, right? The fascinating part to me is the person that puts themselves in that situation and thinks, I can fix this. I can deal with this. This isn't going to be that bad.
What you had
22% or whatever.
What you would just
15 to 20%.
You would just said, like, how fucked up is it that your mind can do that? And I was just trying to say, like, I guess they don't realize.
I know what you're saying. I'm not questioning what you were saying. I heard everything you were saying. I when it comes to him, obviously there's a chemical imbalance, there's brain damage, there's something else that's gone on there that's created this narrative. He can't really do anything about it. He is what he is. Whereas the person that chooses to be there, like you were like, I'm a hot girl. I could be out doing all kinds of cool shit. I could be out living my life, enjoying my life. I'm smart. I'm capable. I have my own money. I'm awesome. And what I'm going to do is lower myself down to this. And then basically have to live in fear for the rest of my life. And I have to live in a situation where somebody I'm with, the person that I'm with, the closest person, could just slip into mania and fucking kill me and not even realize they did it. Like you'd think, like I've done a really good job with my oldest, at least in theory, and I think so with my youngest as well. And just telling them, like, you guys are better than. It's not worth it. No broad is worth that. No broad is worth you. That cop ran out and started shooting. That was crazy. The missing time and waking up not knowing where I was or how I got there was really fucked up. We used to suffer from it. It took us a long time to learn to deal with insanity. And would you ever suggest anybody deal with that? Would you ever suggest, especially somebody you love, would you suggest somebody you love, as loyal as you may be, as good a dude as you may be, and all that shit, would you ever suggest somebody put themselves in the situation where they're with a bipolar, manic, depressive, whatever? No. No, fuck no. You would never, like, you wouldn't want your daughter to be in that situation. Oh, that must be really unsettling, to say the least. Yeah. Algo's been an interesting story to watch for the last, 10 plus years. Watching the narrative and like you people may on the outside be like, nah, it's this or it's that. That dude's been consistently the same kind of crazy, at least from my perspective. I don't even see him in real life. In real life, I think he'd drive me crazy. He's one of those old guys that always got a joke to say. It's always laughing. Like that guy. But he's an interesting cat for sure. And it's interesting how he's treated by law enforcement. How they approach the situation. It's all just fucking. It's all crazy. We live in a situation where there are people like that. Let's figure this out. Let's get a little deeper, right? Estimate 15 to 20% by suicide, approximately 30 to 60% attempt suicide in their lifetime. Among those with bipolar disorder, 40 to 50% overall, and 78% of adolescents engaged in self-harm. 78% of the people have something going on in their head telling them to hurt themselves. How fucked up is that? What's happening there? Complications, suicide, self-harm, social, legal, and financial problems due to the condition, higher risk of diabetes, mellitus, heart disease, and STIs, cognitive impairment. Usual onset, 25 years old. At 25 years old, something breaks? What the fuck are we talking about? Makes you wonder what is given to us. Because we live in the society we live in, where you would think we would be all about advancement and understanding and knowledge and progression and all that. So the idea that, hey, do all these people at some point before they turn, are they getting a vaccine? Are they getting a shot of some sort? Have they gotten shots their whole life? Does bipolar disorder exist in people who weren't vaccinated at birth and never got shots as they were adults? I wonder what that percentage is. Fuck. I so desperately need another surgery, and I just don't know what to do. It's fucked up. Anyway, at least we have learned to share this body, and none of us like getting hurt. It's definitely strange. It's definitely strange. Don't spank me. We don't like it. I don't understand why anybody likes spanking. Spanking is fucking weird. Whether you like doing it or you like receiving it, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. How do we all know to do that? Porn, obviously, but like, why is it you're having sex, making love to your partner, and your thought is, I should smack them, pow, hard, leave a mark. And then why does that feel good? To those that it does feel good, ooh, why? I've been with some broads who like shit like that. And I know their history, and it matches. It's fucked up, but it matches. While the causes of this mood disorder are not clearly understood, genetic and environmental factors are thought to play a role. Genetic factors may account for up to 70 to 90% of the risk of developing BD. Environmental risk, including history of child abuse and long-term stress. Well, I'll go. But it's like, why does that, again, lots of people have long-term child abuse and stress and don't. So I wonder what the blood types of all the people are. I would love to do a real deep study into blood types and to see like if certain blood types are more susceptible to things than other blood types, because you always have to remember when they're putting out all of this one size fits all medicine, vaccines, and all this other shit. Remember, if there are eight, I believe, eight main different types of blood, main different blood types, but then there are 300 plus subtypes. And if you get the wrong type of blood, if you are AB positive and somebody gives you RH negative blood, you'll die. If somebody puts the wrong formula in your body, if you get, diesel instead of regular gas, you're going to fucking die. And when you think about it from that perspective, how can we have such different blood that it'll kill us? But yet everything works the same on everyone? I don't think that makes any sense. Think about shit, man. So much of our world is just I mean, when you look at like modern day modern shit. We haven't been modern for very long. And to claim that we have the understandings we do based on, how long we've been doing this. And then, all the different factors and, oh my God. Oh my God. Jesus, dude. When I drive like an old man because of shit like that. I'm always listening for cop cars and looking, makes you want to not have your fucking music on. Even cows, true story, dude. Even cows. Same can be said about the soul, bro. I'm sitting with right now. His head party are all getting on right now, though. I don't know what you're saying. I'm sorry. Suspended license. Jesus. Ooh. God, that's awful. I just, if somebody can tell me which part I'm wrong about, why we shouldn't be going in the general direction that I'm saying, like, what am I missing here? Aren't I right? Shouldn't we be working towards figuring these things out? Shouldn't we be acknowledging the Netanyahu in the room? Right? Just think about how fucked up that is. Oh, let me finish this real quick. I'm just going to skip through. I want to get to the history of it. History of bipolar. History. German psychiatrist Emil Caprin first distinguished between manic depressive illness and dementia praecox, known as schizophrenia, in the late 19th century. Oh, here we go, schizophrenia. In the early 1800s, French psychiatrist Jean-Étienne Dominique Esquarel's Lipomania, one of his effective monomanias, was the first elaboration on what was to become modern depression. The basis of the current conceptualization of bipolar illness can be traced back to the 1850s. In 1850, Jean-Pierre Farley described circular insanity. Here, pronounce it in French.
Huh?
La folie,
La folie circulaire. Yeah.
What is it called? What?
La folie circulaire.
La folie circulaire. Yeah, stick the tongue. So you can be French. We have learned to spot crazy, even in passing conversations. I'm sitting with a friend of mine named Charlie's, and he's schizophrenic. Wow. That sucks. But I mean, again, I would love to know all of the pieces in that. What sort of vaccines did this guy have? Or was this guy forced into? Which ones did he get and he doesn't even remember getting? Flu shots or who fucking knows? What's his blood type? Like, we don't know. I mean, he knows, but they get along at the moment, but have done for weeks now after a particular event back then. Not medication changed, but wouldn't be right to explain on here. Yeah, it would. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. Nobody knows who you're talking about. You could describe him down to a T. You could use his name and nobody would know who the fuck he is. Nobody you know watches my shit. There's 7 people here. People need to understand that. Like, people get all weird about that shit. Don't say my name. Like, anybody's gonna know who the fuck we're talking about. Your name's John Smith, and you think people are gonna figure out who the fuck we're talking about? You, John Smith? No. He's an amazing DJ, producer, rapper, actually. Sure. There's some sort of connection can tap into the thing and crazy. The lecture was summarized in 1851 in the Gazette, the Hospital Gazette. 3 years later, in 1854, Jules Gabriel Francois Bellare, I don't know. Bellare, 1809 to 1890, described to the French Imperial Académie Nationale de Médecine his biphasic mental illness causing recurrent oscillations between mania and melancholia, which he termed la folie et double form. Madness in double form. Belanger, I don't know. Original paper appeared in the medical journal Annales Médico-Psychiatriques in 1854. Again, think about that, right? It's 1854. What medical journals exist? What network connects all of these different medical establishments? How are they communicating? It's 1854. Pigeons can only carry so much, but could you attach multiple pigeons to one load? Like 4 pigeons, like a fucking car?
You can't get money.
Would that work?
Yes, pigeons.
Gotta work on the bonfire. Ain't gonna build itself. Too bad, man. We're talking about your shit right now, and you're leaving? We're fucking talking about goddamn bipolar and all that, and Algo of all people is leaving. You know what? Fuck you, Algo. That's just, are you kidding me? These concepts were developed by German psychiatrist Emil Kaplin, 1856 through 1926. Because everybody lived to 30, right? 35. Who, using Kalblum's concept of cyclothymia, categorized and studied the natural course of untreated bipolar patients. He coined the term manic depressive psychosis after noting that periods of acute illness, manic or depressive, were generally punctuated by relatively symptom-free intervals where the patient was able to function normally. The term manic depressive reaction appeared in the first version of the DSM in 1952, influenced by the legacy of Adolf Meyer. Wait a minute. It wasn't until 1952 that it started to appear in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. This shit wasn't put into the official record until 1952? Why am I shitting on Algo? Because he's fucking leaving the one conversation he's going to lead the pack on. This is it. This is Algo's repertoire. This is Algo's other words that make me sound smart. Nobody's shitting on Algo. Subtyping into unipolar depressive disorders and bipolar disorders has its origin in Karl Kleist's concept since 1911 of unipolar and bipolar affective disorders, which was caused by Carl Leonhard, which was used by Carl Leonhard in 1957 to differentiate between unipolar and bipolar disorder and depression. Do you understand that they're like just sort of like redundantly saying the same shit and like just jumping from if this was used by this guy who used this guy's thing from earlier, who then used this guy's thing, who then used like there's no well, let's get into it. Let's answer this. Let's talk. Nope. These subtypes have been regarded as separate conditions since publication of the DSM-3. The subtypes bipolar 2 and rapid cycling have been included since the DSM-4 based on work from the 1970s by David Dunner, Elliot Gershon, Frederick Goodwin, Ronald Feeve, and Joseph Fleece. And that's it. That's the history of it. Social, society, and culture. The United States spent approximately $202.1 billion on people diagnosed with bipolar 1 disorder, including other subtypes of bipolar disorder and undiagnosed people in 2015. It's amazing how much of Wikipedia is the majority of the information comes from 2015 and 16 and shit. It's like, what about recent stuff? We don't have any recent numbers. We will be driving and listening. Just hard to communicate, but we will try. All good, dude. I just thought you'd want to be here for this one. Signs and symptoms. Here is an 1892 color lithograph depicting a woman diagnosed with hilarious mania. Obviously, right? Oh, she looks crazy. Look at her fucking hair. Why is her hair done like that?
That's stupid.
Hilarious mania. Hysterical. Isn't it weird how we use so many of those words now to mean funny? Hilarious, hysterical. Especially, anything that has to do with history, it has to do with women and the whole hoochie coochie. That's why they get the hysterectomy, to remove the crazy. Let's see. Mood stabilizers, particularly lithium. Bipolar 1 and 2 occur in approximately 2% of the population, while bipolar spectrum disorder has been estimated to affect as much as 6% of the population. Isn't it disgusting to think about how many, especially girls, will be like, oh my God, I'm totally bipolar sometimes. Oh my God. Like that they throw these terms around like it's just no big deal.
Sense.
Right.
Fucking ridiculous.
But people say retarded all the time. That's retarded. And you go, look, like, you understand that lots of people have children, or first of all, like the idea that somebody is challenged, retarded, handicapped, whatever, they know something's up, right? It's not like they're oblivious to it. And then to hear you be like, retard or something like that, that hurts them. And then there's all the parents and the brothers and sisters and all that shit who have a sibling, a child, something along those lines. And they hear you using that shit. Like, that's just, it's not like that's the only word to describe something. Right? You just there's no other way for me to describe it. If I say something else, you won't understand what I mean. It's just weird, man. We're just fucking, we're stupid. We're so stupid, and we're so easily like manipulated into doing just the dumbest, worst shit possible. He was picking up the fucking drugs is what he was doing. Symptoms most commonly begin between 20 and 25 years old. An earlier onset is associated with a worse prognosis. Around 30% of people with BD have financial, social, or work-related problems due to the condition. Bipolar disorder is the sixth leading cause of disability worldwide and leads to substantial societal costs. Due to lifestyle consequences and medication side effects, risk of death from natural causes such as coronary artery disease in people with BD is twice the average. I mean, I got what I needed to get out of this. Manic episodes, also known as mania. A manic episode is a period of at least 1 week of elevated or irritable mood, which can range from euphoria to delirium. The core symptom of mania involves an increase in energy of psychomotor activity. An increase in energy of psychomotor activity. Mania can also present with increased self-esteem or grandiosity, racing thoughts, pressured speech that is difficult to interrupt, decreased need for sleep, disinhibited social behavior, increased goal-oriented activities, and impaired judgment, which can lead to impulsive or high-risk behaviors such as unprotected sex or excessive spending. Maybe you have bipolar. If to fit the definition of a manic episode, these behaviors must impair the individual's ability to socialize or work. If untreated, a manic episode usually lasts 3 to 6 months. You know, like I just got done saying about getting up, you know, that you're going to hurt people with what you say. At the same time, why are we all so sensitive? Why do you give power to people? You give people power over your mood, over your attitude, over your perspective, over your self-esteem. Remember when it was women who were crazy, they had hysteria until dudes began getting hysterical too? And bangs tied back institution style. She had bangs tied back institution style. You know, people always say to me, my buddy said it, you know, I was like, dude, come to the live feed. And he's like, oh, I can't. I don't have a good mental state. And, you know, I can't deal with these people. And I talk to people at the gym and I get in these arguments with people. And I talk to my friends and I get in arguments with my friends. And, you know, and I realize, like, obviously I've been doing this for a lot longer than most. And I'm more seasoned than most. But it doesn't necessarily have to do with that as much as it has to do with, like, making a decision. Like, you know, just from a logical perspective. Especially in a setting like this, right? You're going to let people who could be doing anything else in the world, but they're watching you. You know nothing about them. You know nothing about their lives. You don't know if they're watching you from a mansion or they're watching you from the car they live in. You have no fucking idea. You don't even know if they're real most of the time. And the thing is, you know, at this point, we also know that our system, like Team Jorge, will do crazy shit. Will you know, assign missions, direct users to missions, you know, to be doing the exact thing to try to hurt your feelings, to make you stop saying the right things. And so why would you ever take that seriously? You know, Christy Moreno, I used to hate it because you know, she was nice enough to let me piggyback on her feed when my Facebook page would get blocked. But, because at first they didn't know that that's what happened. So they'd block you, and then you could still piggyback. You could still be a guest on somebody else's feed. So that worked out for a couple of weeks, maybe. I don't know. But it would drive me crazy because I'd be in the middle of something. I'd be saying something. I'd be in a stream. And I'd be like, what? Oh, you have big ears, stupid. Sorry, go ahead. And it'd be like, are you seriously stopping me, interrupting me, so you can fucking scold somebody who talks shit about you that you don't even know who you're fucking talking to? I mean, it's wild, right? You know, I know I'm not the best looking dude in the world, but I know there's a really good chance that the person that has so little going on in their life that they're on my nuts from 8:30 in the morning till whenever, on a Saturday morning, on a Friday night, whatever, I know I got you beat. If you were better looking than me, you'd be doing something else. You think I don't know. What? You should tell him, here, you'd think you've not got a good mental state. You should see the mental state of this Scottish biatch. I mean, again, it's like my sister-in-law, right? She's way more capable than she thinks she is. So she'll say dumb shit like, oh, this isn't good for my mental state. And you just go, well, yeah, I mean, you know, not everything is going to be fluffy and roses and shit. You have to learn to navigate those situations. You can't just go, well, I don't like it, so I'm not going to, partake in it. But she absolutely is capable of doing all kinds of shit. She was told her whole life she wasn't. Oh, Alex can't do that. Alex can't do that. And so she's struggling with it, but it's so strange how the dysfunction is like it's like a rash, and it just spreads, and it brings, the more people you come in contact with, the more people will have that rash, will feed into that rash that you have. Oh no, Alice can't do that. No. It's like, yeah, stop telling her she can't do it. Of course she can. Man, this is just a crazy bunch of shit we're experiencing. And instead of us working together, helping each other through it, hey, I've experienced this particular thing you've experienced. Let me help you through it, blah, blah, blah. Instead of anything like that, we're busy fighting. It looks like that's a more successful, better version of her. Look. Kinda. From a close-up, she looked more like her. She has a much different. She has like Asian in her or some shit. You know. Her kid's name is Charisma. There are people that do name their kids Charisma. And you just go, what are you thinking? You know, my name might be weird, but my name was a lot more common back in the day. And it's not like it's not a name, right? Like it's a name, it's a goofy name, but it's a name. Charisma, that's not a name. What's that, an adjective? What is charisma? It's not a verb.
Adjective.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Got it right. Yeah. I just think this is such a weird place we live in, man. You know, and like I try to teach my kids these same things. Like, dude, everybody likes the idea of, you know, people shouldn't get upset at things other people say. Like, it's just words. What do you care? It's just words from a person you barely know. You don't know their motivation. You don't know this. You don't know that. And most people will agree with that when they're the ones doing it. When they're the ones that have to deal with it, when they have to deal with somebody else's words, they still get very, very upset for some reason. And it's like, that's the thing. Like, I tell my kids all the time, like, if you're going to have this perspective, you have to be willing to take it too. You can't just dish it out. And it's much more difficult, especially when other people are around and, you know, you get lost in these moments. And especially with cameras being around now. You know, when we were kids, embarrassing things would happen and, you know, give it a week and everybody's moved on to the next thing. They're not rewatching it over and over and over again. To fit the definition of a manic episode, those behaviors must impair the individual's ability to socialize and work. If untreated, a manic episode usually lasts 3 to 6 months. In severe episodes, a person can experience psychotic symptoms, where thought content is affected along with mood. They may feel unstoppable, persecuted, or as if they have a special relationship with God, a great mission to accomplish, or other grandiose or delusional ideas. This may lead to violent behavior and sometimes hospitalization in an inpatient psychiatric hospital. The severity of manic symptoms can be measured by rating scales such as the Young Mania Rating Scale, young being the person, I'm assuming, not young person. Though questions remain about the reliability of these scales. The onset of a manic or depressive episode is often foreshadowed by sleep disturbance. Manic individuals often have a history of substance use disorder developed over years as a form of self-medication. Yeah, I hate that narrative. I hate the idea that drugs are an escape. People do drugs so they can escape their reality. No, they don't.
Let the puppy out!
Hey, let her out! Okay, well, let her out anyway. Okay, well, as soon as she wakes up, you gotta let her out. Fuck, what was I just saying? God damn it. She does this to me all the time. I don't remember what the fuck I was saying. I'm sorry. Fucking irritating. You know, and the crazy part is nobody uses this kind of shit to their advantage as much as they do. they're constantly saying shit, you know, you are delusional, you're schizophrenic, you're this, you're that. Like, they love doing that shit because they don't have it. Oh yeah, there we go. That's the sun. I just love these old shit. I love the way this stuff is presented to us. Drugs, reality escape. Thanks, I'll yeah. So I hate the idea of drugs being an escape because they're not. Most of the time when somebody's on drugs, you know, they're still thinking about whatever it is that bothers them. They might even be thinking about it more. You know, you don't take drugs and forget about your problems. What drugs do is they just make you feel good. And in a world where a lot of shit hurts all the time and where life hurts and where you're upset and it hurts on the inside, to at least have something else that feels good, that matters. You know, if you're in a life where you don't feel anything good and you're miserable all the time and you're in a, you know, screwed up family, screwed up relationship, screwed up job, screwed up whatever, and you wake up every day, I hate life. I hate waking up in the morning. I hate opening my eyes in the morning. Blah, blah, blah. That's drugs don't make that go away. Look at this. This is all supposedly shit. The way the Earth. This is all our magnetic fields. Oh, here's more pictures of the sun. Because, you know, there's that camera that's way up there. What do you think? What camera do you think is filming the sun as it's just pushing off? You know how big this shit is? It's all connected. It's all the same bullshit. It's insulting. You look at that and I look at it and I go, like you're kidding me, right? You know, but it depends on where you are. When you discover the Franklin narrative and you see that there's this government cover up and goes all the way up to Bush and then it gets silenced and all this shit. And you don't even know all the details. You haven't made the Gulf War connection yet. Took me fucking 20 years to make that connection. But when you fuck. When you start to see these things, you're really susceptible to influence. You'll so the Franklin starts crazy. It's isn't there somebody going to say anything? And then bum ba ba, former FBI Chief Ted Gunderson will be here to validate your thing. Yup, this story is true. This stuff is happening, and it's all Satanism. And you go, well, you know what? It's interesting you say that because the system that I was kind of breaking free of, you know, the Christian control, Judeo-Christian control scheme that I was sort of breaking free of, that shit actually really did a good job of putting the idea of the devil into my brain. So I already accept that concept, and now here you are. Here you are saying that's what it is. It's Satan. It's Satanism. The biggest Satan worshippers in the world are Christians. I've never met a Satanist. I've never met somebody, at least I didn't know if I have. They weren't like, hail Satan, blah, blah, blah. You know? They weren't constantly trying to push their shit. Like if somebody sneezed, they weren't like, God bless you. Excuse me, God bless you. You sneezed, so I said, God bless you. Everybody heard me, right? God bless you. And here you go. Here's your change. 5, 6, 32 cents. All right, thank you. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. You've never had a Satanist be like, you know, Satan rules. Satan bless you. Let the dog in. Right? The shit is just, it's everywhere. It's pushed on you everywhere, religious wise. And then the only people that actually really do push Satan are the Christians who give Satan credit for fucking everything. You know? Yeah, somebody might win that race that one time. God gets the credit for that one race. But all those other shits, man, that's all Satan. Satan. Satan has a much bigger effect on things. God can make like people catch touchdowns and run faster. But Satan's killing people, you know, shootings and attacks and
Yeah.
oh, he's been doing this a lot. You're gonna have to play the game a couple times. Broly, let's go. I love how he listens when I'm upstairs. God, that's fantastic. So from now on, I need to just open the door and then go upstairs.
Yeah.
Dumbass. You know, this is just, it's all right here. Like I'm presenting it to you. I'm asking you to fucking unwrap it and tell me what's wrong. Because to me, it all just seems fucking obvious. Again, the whole drugs, the drugs thing. Like, you have to be fucking stupid to think that crack and meth were just created by random street thugs and hoods and well, crack was the street thugs and meth was the country bumpkins. You just, I don't know which one is more ridiculous, honestly. Because you have to think about the process. Like, nobody gives this enough thought. You don't go, you know what? I want to take substance A and turn it into something else, more powerful version of that same thing. I'm gonna make this small amount into a large amount of more powerful. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? Do you even like begin to wrap your head around how ridiculous that is? Now, again, you think, okay, so you either have the cocaine turns to crack, or you have the, hey, we're sitting around, we want to get fucked up. What kind of household ingredients can we put together that after some time will turn into a drug? Which is more, unbelievable? That some black guys in the hood had so much coke laying around that along with their chemical degree, their degree in chemistry, they were able to, oh, Jesus. They're clapping for her like she's something special. God, it's so weird. It's so weird how we've been trained to revere these fucking disgusting fucking friars, man. She's so awful. If you've ever seen things with her like not on, before they realized cameras were everywhere, she was a fucking monster. The Dick Cavett show, her interview on the Dick Cavett show is really telling. She walks out like she's a queen in this big green dress, and as always, the crowd always has to lose their shit over her like she's special. And I can tell you, I've watched a lot of episodes. Bring me back to drugs when I want to remember what I was talking about. It was the creation of crack and shit like that. Don't forget that. But I've watched a lot of episodes of the Lucy Show at this point, and I can tell you there has never been a point watching it where I've had a genuine laugh. Genuine laugh to be had, and I was like, holy shit, that was fucking funny. There's one episode of Lucy in particular that I just find fascinating, right? So you know how with Lucy, it's always, like, it's interesting to look back at these shows like I Love Lucy and like Even the Beverly Hillbillies and shit. But this was in a lot of old shows. The bank manager was a main character in the show. Think about that. How many times have any of you ever spoken with the manager of the bank you're associated with? Ever? Has he ever come to your house? You know, when you say, oh, well, with the hillbillies, it's because they were rich. Sure, Lucy wasn't rich. Lucy worked at the bank sometimes for certain episodes, you know, when they needed a laugh or something. I don't fucking know. It was dumb. But there was one episode where, you know, of course, the bank manager, he's really excited. There's a big account that he wants to get. And it's of this, like, famous shrink who does this famous, you know, he's real famous psychiatrist or whatever. Some German guy, of course. And he wants to get the account. And so to get the account, as always, the bank manager would go to the house or the establishment and try to win over that person to put their money in his bank. Just such a weird thing. Oh my God. Look at this old fucking goofy woman with her hair dyed orange. God, it's so stupid. Oh fuck. Oh, so he's talking about wanting this account, and I can't remember if Lucy like overhears it or something. Somehow Lucy and Ethel get sent to the house or to the place because they're like, I can get the account for you or whatever, something like that. For some stupid reason, he trusts her. Like, it's just stupid. And it just happens to be that they switch to the you know, scene switches, and now it's the doctor talking to his secretary. Okay, I'm expecting those 3 people, the 2 women and the men, to come from the university to partake in my experiment. So as soon as they get here, just send them back. You know, setting it up. So Lucy and Ethel show up, and they're like, oh, yes, we've been expecting you. Because, you know, it's one of those misunderstandings where all somebody has to do is say normal words, but they just assume that somebody is like, you know, like, oh, we've been expecting you. Oh, okay, you're expecting me from the bank, and okay, and you got all the paperwork ready, and they don't say anything like that. Okay, well, let's just go into this back room. So they go into this back room, and at some point they realize there's a mistake happening, but they don't want to lose the account by just communicating that there's a mistake that's happened. So they instead go ahead and play along with it, because how could that possibly work out negatively, right? You know, you just play along with this doctor's experiment, and then when it's all done, you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm the bank person, and the real experiment people are here, and all the shit we've already done is useless. Like, it's just, it's so stupid, and it's such a common thing that happened television, still does, where, you know, like my favorite shit, my wife watches these dumb shows on Ion all the time, and episodes of like Criminal Minds or Blue Bloods, where like somebody will say something really fucked up, like Aaron Reagan is sitting there talking to the little black girl, and the little black girl's like, yeah, you put my brother in jail on some bullshit. And it pans over to Aaron's face, and she's in the middle of the class, and Aaron's face, and then it goes to commercial. It's like, yeah, well, how'd she get out of that? That had to be a really awkward moment after that, right? But we don't get to see that. We just, da-na-na-na-na. So Lucy and Ethel realize that they're supposed to be hypnotized into a setting where they are to be toddlers. Like, their brains are supposed to be tricked into being toddlers. and they're in a room with a whole bunch of oversized furniture so that as the adult versions of themselves, the toys are relatively the same size as they would be to a kid. And now you have Lucy in like a onesie kind of weird little outfit, and Ethel, they're dressed like little toddlers. And as the episode progresses, they, oh well, I want and they're acting like little babies, and it's so goddamn cringe. It's so fucking just, it feels gross. It feels like, a bunch of them are watching and they're like, man, I always wanted to see Lucy as a baby. This is so hot, you know? It's such a fucked up, weird ass episode. And eventually the bank manager shows up because there's supposed to be 2 girls and 1 boy. And, to complete the whole fucked up thing, he gets put into it. And now all 3 of them are hypnotized. Except he actually gets hypnotized into thinking he's a toddler. And the way that they talk is like this the whole time. Wah, I'm not him. Oh, it's so bad. And then at the end, after they're not hypnotized anymore or anything, and they're wrapping everything up, he goes, well, because you ended up getting the account anyway and everything worked out, it's sitcom, so everything's going to wrap up at the end. What we're going to do is I'm going to take you for some ice cream. And they all go, yay, ice cream, ice cream. And they start acting like kids. It's so awful. It's so fucking awful. Hey, I have 0 viewers, 5 likes, 0 viewers. Gotta love that, huh? And you have to think, like, how many different fryer hands the episode went through to be able to be produced. So I guess I just have to reset. I'm going to reset because this bullshit's ridiculous. So I'm going to reset. Hopefully you come back. Pedophiles, kill yourself. Wait for it. Wait for it.